Hi my lovely, I'm Donna and this is Bride to Be TV, and this week we are talking all about the money. Bring it on. Okay, last week I said that you could go to the website and get your free download, which is a wedding starter kit, which includes a calendar, questions to talk through with your spouse before you get married, and also this wedding budget guide. So it's only a short guide, it's sort of 4 sheets front and back, and it's just going to help you through, and we're going to go through that today. So firstly, I know budget. That word is just such a buzzkill when you're talking about something as exciting as planning your wedding. However, we all want that big wedding with no limits, or maybe a small wedding but with no limits, not thinking about the money, but we have to. At the end of the day, it is better to start dreaming within a budget that you've got for yourself than putting up with second best or completely blowing any kind of budget that you would have and start in married life in real big debt. Money is one of the biggest rows within marriages, so we want to start off on a good foot and not have any money issues to worry about. So let's talk about it. So first of all, it's important that you sit down with anybody who's going to be involved with paying for the wedding. So traditionally it was the bride's parents that paid for the wedding, and the groom's parents might donate something like the rehearsal dinner or the honeymoon or something, but generally the bride's parents paid for it all. Nowadays that's just not true. Most bride and grooms are paying for the wedding themselves. Now this has its advantages and its disadvantages, as anything does. The advantages are it's your money, you can spend it your way, but you still might have donations from parents that come in. If you're getting married, they might say, your mum might turn around and say, you know, I'd love to pay for your dress, or you know, the parents-in-law might turn around and say, we'd like to donate the flowers, or there might be something that they say. So you really need to sit down and have a conversation with the people that are going to be involved about how much money you're going to be spending on this wedding. Okay, so the average UK wedding is set at around £20,000. In America it's around $26,000 to $28,000. So that's quite a lot of money that you're going to be looking at finding. Now ideally you want to work out right now with your partner, even if you're not engaged. I did this with my other half of the weekend. When are you planning on getting married? How much do you really want to spend? And obviously this budget's going to help you with how much you're spending. And then divide that by the number of years and the number of months, so you can work out how much that each of you need to save towards that wedding goal, so that you can pay for your wedding up front and not have anything to worry about. That is the ideal situation. So grab a pen and paper, talk to your other half. When are we looking at getting married? Can we set up a savings goal for that? And work it out. You might be surprised at how much or how little it could cost you, depending on how soon you want to get married. Okay, so I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to numbers, and I absolutely love playing with percentages. So in the wedding budget breakdown, in the Wedding Budget 101, which you can download from the website www.bridetobetv.co.uk. It comes as part of the Wedding Starter Kit. So if you download that, then you will get this budget breakdown included. What you will have in there is a percentage breakdown of all of the different sort of categories within the wedding, and on the back is the breakdown of what that is. So for instance, 44% of your budget should go on the reception, venue, catering, rental of decorations and entertainment. Your wedding dress, alterations, tux hire, accessories, hair, makeup, rings should equate to around 13% of your budget. So what you need to do is look at how much you want to spend, and within your budget breakdown I have got an example budget based on £12,000. So this just gives you an idea. If you download it before you talk to your other half, you'll be able to actually look at this and say, okay, so for £12,000, you would be looking at spending $5,280 on a reception venue and all the food, and obviously you've got the list of what that would cover. And then you can look at the other things that it covers, and you can look at that and say, okay, those are reasonable costs. That's what I want to try and keep it to. Alternatively, you might turn around and say, oh my goodness, no, I already know that I want to get married at such and such venue, and their breakdown of cost means that we would have to spend X on the reception. So what you would need to do then is input that as your 44%. So if you already knew that you wanted to get married at a venue, and that venue was going to, for argument's sake, cost £10,000, you know that £10,000 needs to equate to 44% of your wedding budget, and then you need to build out the rest of the budget from there. So to work out what 1% would be, you need to take the £10,000 and divide it by 44, and that's what 1% of your total budget would be. So you just times that by 100, and that would give you how much you've got to save to cover these percentages for your entire wedding. So it's all talked about on here. So there's a page on here as well, can't find it, there it is, where you can actually fill in your own, and I give you the calculations at the top, so it's really simple, really easy to follow. So go to the website, download that, work out what your budget is, have a cry if you need to, and then work out your savings goal based on that. Once you've got your budget set, you need to look at your 3 non-negotiables. So these are areas where, regardless of what the budget is, you're going to overspend on them because that's what you want to do. And it has to be a conscious decision. So for instance, say your dress is really important, your photography is really important, and you want to get married by the beach. So if that means that you end up going a little bit over budget on those items, you're allowing for that. The second thing to do is look at your non-negotiables. Your negotiables. So for instance, you may think, okay, well, if I'm going to go over in my dress, then I'm going to cut back on my bridesmaids. If I'm going to go with that photographer, then I'm going to make sure that the type of wedding breakfast I have is like a buffet instead of a sit-down dinner. If I'm going to make sure that I'm getting married at the beach, then we're going to go and do it at the registry office and not at the venue that costs a lot more. Those kind of things. So once you've got your 3 non-negotiables and your 3 negotiables, then you have got a little bit of flexibility within your budget. So the idea is that you go out and you look at your budget and you try and only look at things that fall within your budget, which is why I said with those 3 top questions to ask your wedding venue and vendors last week, one of them is, this is my budget, can you work with that? Because you don't want to be going and seeing things that are way out of your budget, because that's that whole dreaming big and then feeling like you're settling for second best. So go and look at things that you want. Obviously with wedding dresses, they tend to show you a variety of things, but they will stick with the budget. If you fall in love with something that's slightly over budget, then you've got that flexibility to say, do you know what, this is my dress and I'm going to have 1 less bridesmaid, or I'm going to cut back somewhere else. The first place you want to look at cutting is those 3 negotiable areas, although depending on how far you go over budget, you might need to cut them back in other areas, but you really want to try and stick to your budget as much as possible, because as much as we all want that special day, it is one day. Now you have a budget that you can work with, and you can go to your vendors and you can tell them, this is my budget, can you work with that? It will simplify things and make things so much easier. It means that you're not going to be traipsing around the place, going to view venues that are just out of your price range. You can have those conversations and you can feel confident in knowing that, you know, this is my budget, this is what you said you could work with, and you can manage your expectations. So I hope that video was helpful for you, and I hope that it didn't make you cry. Give this video a thumbs up if it did help, and hit that subscribe button so you know when the next video comes out, and pop a comment below, ask a question. I am happy to answer questions. So see you next time. Bye for now.